And social and environmental concerns have been a part of the agenda prominently. Apart from that, U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to speak at the World Economic Forum. The White House has unveiled a list of leaders that Donald Trump will be meeting at the forum. The leaders he will be meeting includes Iraqi President and Pakistani Prime Minister. Donald Trump also intends to meet with Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, and Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum founder. These are the latest images that we are getting to you from the Swiss town of Davos, which is hosting the World Economic Forum's 50th edition. Donald Trump, U.S. President, is arriving for the World Economic Forum. A string of meetings that are lined up that the American president will be engaging in. The agenda, as far as the meeting is concerned, has included issues of mutual concern of the world powers. And like we just discussed, climate change has been an issue which has topped the agenda as well. Donald Trump arriving at Davos to attend the World Economic Forum. He will be meeting various leaders, including the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan and the Iraqi President. He also intends to have a meeting with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Also lined up is a meeting with the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab. And before he headed to Davos, Donald Trump tweeted talking about how he's looking forward to meeting with world and business leaders and bring good policy and additional hundreds of billions of dollars back to the United States. And that statement of his, that tweet, had ended with, "We are now number one in the universe by far," quote unquote. This is a crucial summit for Donald Trump, given that this is election year in the United States, and he does hope to get consensus on a number of issues, but climate change is definitely a sticking point here. Remember, Donald Trump has been criticized for the way in which he's looked at the climate emergency, right from his earlier statements calling climate change a hoax to then taking a U-turn on his own statement, and then his lax approach when it comes to dealing with the Paris Climate Change Agreement and the subsequent withdrawal. All of these have been sticking points and have been criticized by several world leaders as well. The gathering is also taking place at a time of heightened trade disruptions, various shifts in foreign policy, and a climate emergency. So overall, the global leaders will be in search of stability, focusing on the global slowdown in consumerism as well. A host of other issues, including the future of multilateralism and how to make businesses more climate friendly. All of these will be on the table when the world leaders meet as a part of the World Economic Forum's 50th edition. Those visuals coming to you from the Swiss town of Davos, which is hosting the World Economic Forum's 50th edition. U.S. President Donald Trump has just arrived. We just told you of the meetings that he already has lined up, including with Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, with the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, also with the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab. The World Economic Forum is celebrating its 50th year. This is the 50th edition of the summit, which is taking place. 3,000 participants from across the world trying to arrive at consensus on various issues. Stakeholder capitalism, assist governments and international institutions in tracking progress towards the Paris Agreement and Sustainable Development Goals. India will be represented by its Commerce and Trade Minister Piyush Goyal, who will be leading the Indian delegation. Those visuals coming to you of US President Donald Trump, who has just arrived in the Swiss town of Davos. Donald Trump, remember, had missed the World Economic Forum's annual meeting last year due to the government shutdown. He is expected to deliver remarks at the forum on Tuesday morning, that is in just a short while from now, before sitting down with business leaders. He also has meetings lined up with leaders including the Iraqi and Swiss presidents. US President Donald Trump arriving in the Swiss town of Davos. A string of meetings that are lined up over the next few hours. And in just a short while from now, he will also be delivering his remarks as a part of the 50th edition of the World Economic Forum. He also has meetings lined up with leaders including the Iraqi and Swiss presidents. Remember, he had given the World Economic Forum's last year's edition a miss owing to the US government shutdown. The president will also be meeting the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab. Before his arrival and before heading to Davos, the president had already mentioned how he's looking forward to meeting with world and business leaders. He had said that he hopes to bring good policy and additional hundreds of billions of dollars back to the United States of America, and also saying that, quote unquote, we are now number one in the universe by far. US President Donald Trump will also be getting Swiss Army security, given the climate protesters who will be holding demonstrations right outside the venue of that summit.